Hello everyone. These are two talking sticks. They're based on talking sticks that were made by Native Americans that they used during tribal meetings to show whose turn it is to speak at the meeting. And in this video I'm going to show you the materials that you need and some tips and tricks for making them. And that's going to be our project for the week. When we meet on Friday, I'm going to ask everybody to come to our class meeting with their talking stick, and we're going to actually use them in the same way that Native Americans used them. So take a look and see how they're done. All right. Hello, brave art students. I'm out in my backyard, and I'm going to go looking around for some sticks that would be a good size and a good thickness to use for the talking spirit sticks. So I'll swap you around here. All right, and here we go. Let's see, that's Mr. Kramer over there raking the yard. Here's a couple of sticks. This one has a lot of twigs on it that I can break off. Here's another smaller one. Let's see. Another one. It's a good length. And let's see if I can find one that's a little bit thicker. Let's see. I see one over here. This one looks real good. It's just, hopefully it's not rotted out. No, it's nice and sturdy. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go back inside and show you how to do the next step. Okay, so I cleaned off the branches on the sticks, and I've got 4 good ones. This one here is a little too skinny, this last one here. It would work, but it's better if you've got something a little bit thicker. And I'm just going to hold it in my hand so you can see about how thick they are. Yeah. Sometimes they have little nibbins on them. You can kind of break those off with your finger. It might be good to use a glove while you do that. Most of these are as long as my arm. This one is a little bit shorter. That will also work. So I would say, you know, someplace around 15 to 20 inches long is a good length. Okay, so I'm back inside. I have my supplies all set out. I'm going to show those to you in a minute. And this is a talking stick that I made. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but before I do that, I want to read to you the information that you have in the classwork section for this project about the talking sticks and how Native Americans use these, because these were originally used in tribal meetings and gatherings, and whoever had the stick in the meeting had the chance to speak. So I'm going to just read to you what's in the lesson. The talking stick is used as a way to be fair, polite, and non-judgmental when listening to others. It was used and may still be used by Native Americans when they hold group meeting circles. The stick shows who has the right to speak. Whoever holds the stick can speak, and all others need to listen carefully. When the stick is passed to the next person, that person needs to repeat or summarize the main idea of what was said by this last speaker or the person before them. This shows that they have listened carefully and respectfully. Then the new speaker has a turn to speak. The stick carries with it respect for free, non-hurtful speech and the practice of true conversation. According to Native American tradition, the words that are spoken when holding the talking stick should come from the heart and be soft and warm, symbolized by fur, and courageous and wise, symbolized by a feather. The beads on the stick are a reminder to Native Americans that the Great Spirit hears the message of the heart as well as the spoken word. So they have a lot of symbolism, these sticks. Now, you may not have fur, I don't have fur, and you may not have beads, I don't have beads. So what I did to show, to symbolize coming from the heart, I decided to make my white ends, the tape that I put on here, show that this is what symbolizes coming from my heart. And I chose another material to show courageous and wise. So for me, on my stick, this gold tassel here symbolizes courageous and wise. And the rest of this is really to decorate the stick and make it look interesting and be special to me. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you all of the supplies that I've gathered and laid out on my table. I'm in my studio right now, by the way. So I'm going to just turn the camera over here. And I don't know if you can see all of this. I have a lot of supplies laid out on this table here. And so I have my sticks. This one is got a lot of moss and things on it. It's kind of one of the thicker ones. So I don't think I'm going to use this because it has a lot of like crusty stuff on it. But it's a good size and it's a good thickness. And this one I got from outside also. It was kind of thin, but when I kind of bent it a little bit, it snapped and broke, so I'm not going to use that. You want a nice sturdy stick. These are all good samples of sticks, okay? And the other things I've gathered here are some yarns and some string. I have strips of fabric. Now I'm a quilter, so I have a lot of fabric in my fabric stash that I can use. So that's lucky for me. You may not have that. This is a piece of old t-shirt that I cut up into a long strip. This is a drawstring from an old pair of sweatpants that I don't need anymore. This is a piece of fabric that I cut from an old flannel shirt that I don't need anymore. And then if you don't have fabrics or those kinds of materials, you can use some other things. This is a strip of a red plastic bag that I had. And actually I have two of those, another one here. And this is a piece of brown plastic bag from Hannaford. And then I was just scrounging around and I found this old headband that is too stretched out to use as a headband anymore. So I think I may cut it and I may use that to also wrap around my talking stick. So I'm going to start out with this stick. And I'm going to start to create my talking stick. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a piece of fabric. I'm going to start with this black piece of fabric. And I'm going to hold it down with my thumb. And I'm going to wrap it around the stick. And as I wrap it, I'm going to overlap. I don't know if you can see me doing that. I'm overlapping the last piece of fabric the last time it went around. So that way it will hold itself down. I'm going to wrap again. And I'm going to keep wrapping this. Now there's a way to wrap it so you don't have to tie every time you stop. And that's what I want to show you. You can try that out. So there's I'm going to wrap it back down again this way. So it's covering up itself, overlapping itself again. Now here's the end piece. And what I'm going to do there is put another piece. This time I'm going to use my plastic bag. I'm going to put that right on top of the end of the black fabric. And I'm going to wrap it around itself so it holds itself on. And I'm going to even turn my stick a little bit and roll it that way. So now I have this little piece here that's not going to stay down unless I wrap another piece of cloth around it. So let's see what I can find. I'm going to use this piece of white cloth. I'm going to wrap that around itself. And I'm going to make it nice and tight. Whoops, it broke. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. And maybe that's not going to work. So Stretch and Explore, I'm going to take this off. That didn't work. So let's try something that's a little stronger. I'm going to use this drawstring from my old pair of sweatpants. I'm going to tie that. I'm actually going to tie this down on top of my red plastic bag. Put a little double knot there. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap that around, and notice how when I do that it kind of makes an interesting stripe around, around the red part. I'm going to go right over the black, and I'm going to come back down again and maybe crisscross it. You can experiment with different kinds of ways of putting your cloth down. And as I crisscross, I'm going to go over that little piece that was hanging down in the beginning. And there we go. And I'm going to go around the black part. And then when I get to the end, I'm going to wrap this around and I'm going to tuck it under itself. There's a lot of different ways to finish this off. And I'm going to just tuck it under there, wrap it around again, and maybe tuck it under itself again to try to hold it in place. So there it goes. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so I've got the beginning of my stick here. I'm going to keep working, and then as I finish, I'm going to show you how it looks.